His powers are not a gift, but a curse. Born out of rage. So I'm mounted up.
Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama. Welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
Today we're covering the DC movie Black Adam.
One of DC's last movies before James Gunn's new revamped universe. This film stars Dwayne Johnson as the anti-hero Black Adam. And he's a character that Dwayne Johnson has wanted to play his entire life. He finally arrives playing this character to the big screen.
Yes. Before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notification bell to future podcasts and little pause videos.
Absolutely. And I want to start out with us saying we heard a lot of negative comments on this movie. The trailer looked like it was nothing but violence, but we were actually very pleased that this movie was pretty good. It was nothing like the trailer portrayed it. It actually had a storyline. It actually stayed very, very close, almost 100%, to the actual character storyline. And it's had different versions where he was not only a villain for a time with villain groups, but he was also a hero for a certain time with hero groups. And had a stellar cast of actors in it.
Yeah.
So we were very happy that we ended up enjoying this movie.
Yes, definitely. And we still always give movies a chance. If it's something that we really don't want to see, we just tell you we're not going to see it. But Black Adam was something that we really were thinking about watching for a while. Like with this and Blue Beetle and some of the last DC movies before the reboot, they're like, well, we'll give it a chance because we liked the second Shazam movie and it wasn't as bad as people say.
Yeah.
So Black Adam falls in the same category of it being a little exaggerated on it being bad. It had some sort of a few scenes that were kind of much or didn't work, but it wasn't like it affected the entire film being unwatchable. It was just like a few misses there.
Absolutely. And I think it should have gotten better promotion. It should have had a more honest trailer. And whoever this company is that does these trailers for movies now, and they show you just a bunch of hype scenes or violent scenes, and it never gives you a true sense of what the movie is, they need to be replaced. Because this is like the fourth or fifth movie where we've seen the trailer, and the movie is nothing like the trailer. This movie actually had heart. There was a story. The acting, again, was great. It had some fantastic special effects.
Yep.
Especially seeing Dr. Fate finally in action.
Right.
And if you got the DVD, which we were able to procure, and you see the special features, they really took the time to make it as great as the special features you used to see on older movies from DC and from Marvel, where they had behind the scenes, and they had character profiles, they had interviews with the voice actors. The special features on this are outstanding.
Definitely.
And this is what you really miss from Blu-rays you buy now. A lot of times you'll buy a Blu-ray now and it's just like the regular DVD.
Yeah.
And if you're lucky, you get some special features.
Right.
But I can say that Dwayne Johnson and his studio and DC really took the time to try to give people something special. They really cared about this movie, and you can tell when you watch it the time they put into it and how much they really wanted to be something special.
Right.
Too bad that they're going to scrap this character and start all over.
Right.
Because after seeing the movie, it would have been great to not only see there be another Black Adam movie, but also a Dr. Fate movie.
Right. And what's really disappointing about that is that when you get to the end of the film, they show someone who's supposed to be Superman and is clearly not Henry Cavill, but they kind of foreshadow the next movie will involve him battling Superman. And we also had a post-credit scene with the DC Super Pets animated movie that the two films are going to cross each other and show Black Adam's dog for some reason, so he gets two roles. There are three if you count the dog too. And now all those, like you said, all those things now are just going to be standalone films. They will not lead to anything else. So Black Adam, possibly the second Shazam, and Super Pets all now will just be standalone movies. And they were never going to connect this to Shazam because it was too different from the feel of the Shazam films. Shazam was too lighthearted. Black Adam was about Black Adam only and being serious and telling his story, and they didn't want him to be overshadowed by Shazam, so they decided he was going to stand on his own.
True. So the budget for this movie is listed as between 190 and 260 million. It made 393 million at the box office, so they more than made back what they invested.
Right.
That's good. And as we mentioned, they had a stellar cast. They had Dwayne Johnson, who did a fantastic job. They had Aldous Hodge, who I was happy to see because he used to be in Leverage, and he finally got a major role in a motion picture.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it looks like they're not going to bring him back as Hawkman, which is a shame because he's a fantastic actor. Noah Centineo, Sarah Shahai, Marwan Kenzari, Contessa Swindell, and Pierce Brosnan. That one was really, really a surprise when they announced he was going to be Dr. Fate. And then when we watched the special features and they explained how they wanted this character to be portrayed.
Right. Like we've seen in Young Justice, I think they want to make more like that version because that's where a lot of people began to know him both as Fate and as Kent. You had Justice League cartoon, other ones, you see him only as Fate, and he was just the sorcerer only, down business only, trying to make sure the world stays in balance and everything. Well, for this version, they wanted Kent to be more fatherly, a little softer, more like an old friend, an old mentor, where, you know, he's older and he's had all this experience, but he still has this heart to him. And they never mentioned Young Justice within there, which was a shame to me, but it was clear that they were inspired by that particular version and took a little bit from the comics and combined it to make this version.
And they wanted him to be more sophisticated,
Right.
more like his presence has been, Pierce Brosnan's presence has been in other movie franchises. And then we're like, oh, okay, well that makes sense because he definitely delivered on that.
Right.
And you also had two versions of characters that I personally wasn't familiar with. Noah Centineo, he was...
I think he was,
one that grew big.
yeah, that one.
What was
It wasn't Atom Man. I know that wasn't
Adam
it.
Smasher.
Adam Smasher.
And wasn't really familiar with this character, but he played it humbly, and he had this portrayal like a lot of actors do now, where they're really excited, they're humble, they look up to the character. In this case, his uncle was the predecessor, and he got the outfit or costume from him.
Yeah.
And he was like, don't mess it up, and he was really harsh, and no matter how he spoke to him, he was really excited about having it. And then you had Contessa Swindell, and they portrayed Cyclone,
yeah.
a different version of Cyclone. And this Cyclone was actually related to my uncle, who was a character we actually spoke about in the book, Superhero Girls, or Supergirls.
Yes.
And so that was interesting to see this character. And I thought they did a good job in giving us a different version of Cyclone. It seemed genuine. And Swindell and Centineo seemed to really mesh on film.
Yes. Definitely.
So, and then you also had, of course, Sarah Sahahi, who was the mom and had a major role in the movie. And it was really good.
Yeah.
It really ended up being a superhero movie, especially the last 26 minutes.
Right, where it was this the end of the world battle, and it went hard with all the action there.
And my favorite parts, there were lots of them, but my special favorite parts were the ones where we got to see the powers of Dr. Fate. Those were some badass scenes. It was like, they should have been longer. We needed more.
Right, and they didn't make him look bad or have him be too old. And I'm really glad that they didn't make him look less powerful compared to Black Adam or have him be weak. I'm really glad they didn't just change his character to make Black Adam look good. I am very happy about that because we've seen so many studios and movies prop up characters they want you to like and make the other ones that are powerful in them knock them down so theirs look better. So I'm glad they didn't do that in here.
Yes, and also all the characters had a script that was written to give them, they were respectfully written and portrayed. None of the characters, sometimes, let me explain this way, sometimes you watch a movie and they adapt it, and then you're going with characters you're not really familiar with, like Cyclone, Atom Smasher, and Black Adam. Really, before this movie and watching the special features that told you the whole backstory and looking it up ourselves, we didn't know anything about Black Adam, but he was a villain. That's it, and he was like anti-Shazam. That's the most that you really knew on a surface level. And then when we started reading and we saw the special features that really went into detail, we're like, wow, this is a really layered character. They talk about layered. This character's layered.
You're right.
And he starts off as a villain, and he's with the Legion of Doom and two other ones.
Yeah.
And then he ends up later with the Justice Society of America and another one, and Justice League, because he turns over a new leaf.
You're right.
He's been alive for a very long time, and this is a character that actually has a redemptive arc that he earns and works toward, and shows that there's change possible and can do good after having done the wrong thing.
Right.
And I think part of that is what Dwayne Johnson really wanted to convey in this movie. The trailer didn't make that clear. The trailer made it sound like he was some psychotic person that awoken, and he was still a villain, and he was being a villain, and Dr. Fate was trying to tell him, look, you don't have to be a villain, just stop killing. That's not how the movie was. There was actually a progression and a character development in the short 125 minutes of this movie. And again, it's a shame that we'll never see this character again. And this version, a portrayal of these characters are gone.
Yeah, that's it.
Because, again, it was really well done. You didn't know how much work had been put into it until you watched it. The hate it got, it didn't deserve. And a lot of people who gave it the hate probably hadn't seen it because we hadn't seen it. And we were thinking it was going to not be good. It was just going to be violence and nothing to work from. But actually, we recommend, if you have not seen Black Adam, you absolutely positively should watch it. If you don't, you are missing out on some great entertainment. It starts out a little weird if you don't know anything about him. So we suggest reading up on him a little bit before you watch it.
Right.
If you have the DVD and you haven't watched it, watch the special features first to learn about the character Black Adam, and then watch the movie. It'll make it much more enjoyable, and enjoy the performances throughout.
Right.
So, if you've seen Black Adam, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you love it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was okay? Let us know what you think. We actually, again, enjoyed it. And if you haven't seen it, it's available on DVD and for streaming.
Yes.
And we recommend you watch this movie. If you haven't seen it, it's worth the time to watch it. You will not be disappointed.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates if you view this favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for watching. I'm Mask Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainments.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.